Okay, so yeah, yesterday we, on our next level session, same time, same bat channel, we started building out this email course based kvCORE real estate growth system, and it was a seller hook sort of angle, right, as you can see on the screen. So that the landing page that we built was the 7 tips for getting the highest price possible when selling your area home. You just insert your area here, and then the opt-in goes to an email. We'll just do the quick recap. I'm sorry, it doesn't go to an email. It goes to a YouTube video that is basically a thank you video. And as mentioned yesterday, man, I'm looking rough. But as mentioned yesterday, we can use any number of methods to deliver the thank you, but the thank you basically says, hey, go check your email. And then we're delivering the rest of the lead magnet, the 7 tips. We're delivering that as an email-based course over 7 days. And what we did yesterday was we built out the first 7 days of that. So that's kind of the recap. And what I was hoping to do today, as mentioned at the end of yesterday's session, was to kind of finish these emails off. So I did that this morning, and then I'll give you guys the share code to use. But what I was hoping to do today, and it probably won't take us too long, is have you guys review the emails that I wrote, kind of give it your stamp of approval. We'll just kind of review them, and then maybe we'll run an ad here. So let's go into the campaign. And I'm just now remembering that I haven't put the other 5 emails into the campaign yet. So let's take it off there. It'll be a little repetitive, but remember, we're in a smart campaign. We did the first 2 emails yesterday. I wrote all the text for them this morning. So we'll do selling tips email 3. And you can see I have the 7 of them here because I named them all with that same convention, right? That's that little tip. I used the same hashtag convention. I named it after the hashtag that I'm using. So 3, and then my time unit is days, and then my value is 2. So the 3rd email will go out 2 days later because the first email goes out immediately. So 2, like so, and that should add it. And then I'm quickly just going to do this a few more times. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask them in the chat as always while I do this. Generally, we have some topic that we talk about for the beginning of these sessions, then we do a little Q&A in case this is your first time here. And we do get the replays live on the YouTube channel and in the next level members area. So I'll add that one. I wanted to, I'm going to make you watch me do this because I wanted to make sure this was done and I can give you guys the campaign to copy today as part of our content. So, and show how that sharing happens one more time. So this will just take me a second to do. I only have 3 more emails here. 2 more emails. Number 5. And you can see once you've got the templates created, it's not super difficult here, right? You're just kind of doing the repetitive action of going through and adding them in. It's my day 5, so immediately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then day 6 will be the last one. That'll be our 7th email, since there's technically kind of a day 0 there. So just about done. Days, and then 6. Okay, I think I did that right. Now what we have, I just added that one twice. We'll just exit out. So what we have is the immediate email. So we'll take a look. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of show these on the screen and just talk about what I'm doing here for each one again. And then you guys can ask questions or maybe make suggestions if you don't mind. So again, the idea was they opt in here and then the hashtag comes in. We covered this yesterday. And then it triggers this 7-day email campaign. It's technically 6, but it starts on day 0. And then the first day, what we did was thanks for accessing the course. We said a quick thank you. And then we jumped right into the first tip. Don't price it too low. And then talked a little bit about the automated valuation process and how that's not great, and how they can get a free report from us. So the structure here on the first email is thank you. and then we go into the first tip. And then remember, there's always got to be some kind of call to action toward the end. So it's pretty soft here, but it says to see what we mean by this and to get a detailed report prepared for your home now, just reply to this email with your address and I'll get your report prepared and sent over in the next day or so. So that's our call to action on this one. Then let's look at day 2. I think we did this one here. Ooh, what did I do? Okay. I'm going to need to clean that up, I think. You see the white highlighting behind? I was copying and pasting out of what I did was I copied and pasted out of that article I showed you guys yesterday, but I didn't use all I did was copy and paste the ideas in, and then I rewrote what was there. And I think it took over the white formatting in the background. I'll have to fix that real quick. But the second email is paint, landscaping, and kitchen. We basically talk about the 3 kind of main areas of repair they might want to focus on. You guys might disagree with this. There's probably other areas that should be in here. But remember, the point is that we're kind of just sending information to prove that we're consistent. We're delivering on what was promised. So this information should be good, but it doesn't need to be perfect. And the cool thing is about these shared campaigns, when I give you the code, is that you're free to just go into the template and change this stuff. But basically, we just say, hey, focus on aspects of the property that buyers will be focused on. By focusing on aspects of the property that buyers will be focused on, you will get pretty far in terms of maximizing the price you get. And here are 3 such areas of focus: painting, and we talk about why lighter colors are better than dark; landscaping, first impressions, right? Kitchen, right? So upgrading the kitchen might make sense. But the call to action here is basically, if you'd like to have someone come over and give you a more detailed opinion about which upgrades make the most sense for your property, just reply to this email. So again, our call to action is that reply to this email. So let's look at the next one. Wow, I really need to take a few minutes and fix this formatting. That's so strange. In yesterday's tip, we talked about the importance of upgrading your paint, landscaping, and kitchen. So this kind of is functioning now as a story. And as you can see, it kind of feels like I'm having a conversation with the end user, right? I'm saying, hey, we're picking up, and you guys have probably received e-courses like this. It's kind of a thread. And then we transition into today's tip. We will talk about 2 other aspects of the property that can have a big impact on price: clutter and smells. I love smells as a copywriting word. It's just a fun word that kind of sticks out in your brain. I made sure to use that in this subject line. Selling tip number 3, smells capitalized, and clutter. And then just talks about why they should get rid of smells and clutter. So I'm actually going to go into the actual templates to make a few light edits of these as we go. So let's go back to the campaigns, templates, selling tips. And I don't see anybody chatting me to say that there's anything wrong with these yet. So I guess you can let me know, but either way, you're free. Again, this kind of just gives you a base that you can use. This is unfortunate. You see that? It's not there. Let's see what's going on here. All right, the first email was there. The second email is there. Okay. See, this white formatting in the background was a little messed up, so I might have to fix that before I give you guys the share code. Sorry about that. I might need to take some time after and figure out why that happened. This background color stuff here needs to be removed. Not sure why that happened really. And then email 3. Oh, there it is now. See, I had this CL there. And then the call to action on this one, if you'd like to have us drop by and give some specific tips on removing any smells and clutter in your house, feel free. So same kind of call to action. And then in the PS on this one, I said, when we stop by, we'll give you our professional opinion what the house might sell for. Just reply and let us know when's a good time, ? So every step of the way, we are kind of making that call to action to let us come over, right? Here's the end. So our 4th email is find an agent who knows how to market. This basically touches upon some of the marketing that we do. You can change out these bullet points to suit your listing servicing plan, whatever you happen to do. I get a little bit of into too many of our competitors think that putting your house in the MLS throwing signing art is good enough. And, I try to be careful here. I'm not trying to disparage the competitors, right? But, and I keep it very general. But but we just kind of teased it. Hey, we do a little bit more. We employ a multi-channel marketing system to get you maximum exposure, so you get the highest price possible in the short amount of time. And then just mention a few of the things in there. And again, the call to action. So that was email 4. And then this one, I struggled with a little bit considering your timing. I painted myself in the corner here, but basically this just talks about how maybe there's certain times when it makes sense to put your house on the market. Some it doesn't because of demand in the marketplace. It's just basically seasonality. Yeah, and Ivy's saying we versus I. I was wrestling with that. I'm using we. You know, I think the we is interesting because it positions you as part of a bigger team. Even if it is just you do work for an office, right? So from the consumer's perspective, they're hiring your brokerage, right? So I like using the we. The other thing is I as a like the as much as I do write copy, I try not to ever say I. It's kind of like a fundamental copywriting thing where you're supposed to be talking about more than you than them. So it's a personal challenge to me to just almost never talk about myself in these emails. And you'll never see an I. But it's not like a hard and fast rule. You could have easily said I there, but I kind of like the way we flows. Again, just change out, what you need to change out here. So this timing email, yeah, you may disagree or agree with some of what I'm saying here. I did stumble a little bit. Like I said, for example, the amount of buyers looking for homes tends to drop significantly in the few weeks leading up to Christmas and then again in the middle of the summer when everybody's on vacation. But there are other times when there are more buyers in the market than usual. I'm not really saying much here of use other than it's just kind of just something that as the person reads this, they might nod their head, say, oh, that makes sense. And yeah, this guy seems to know a thing or two that I wasn't thinking about, right? That's kind of the point, is that you're positioning yourself as somebody they should at least consult when it comes to selling their house. So it just says, if you'd like to talk a little bit more about this over the phone or in person, feel free to reply to this email now. Looking forward to meeting and seeing your house. So this is called future pacing. I guess NLP in NLP terms, I think that's an NLP, future pacing. So what I'm doing is a technique when the client, I'm going into the future and assuming something is happening in the future. So I'm saying, looking forward to meeting and seeing your house. So to the subconscious mind, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's going to meet and see my house. Like it's making an assumption. So there's a little bit of that kind of stuff going on in these emails, but again, change them up to your heart's content. Make them sound more like you, instead of like me. Email 6 is make it easy to show. We all know this one. I basically talk about, hey, try to have a little fun with it. Don't be like, hey, you can only see the house between 2:15 and 2:45 p.m. if it's a new moon and Giants won last weekend. Maybe you substitute in your local team right there. And it just talks about making the house accessible for showings, right? Again, I think we're doing a little bit of future pacing here, assuming that it's going to be marketed. And then it ends with a question: would tomorrow or next weekend work okay for you? Kind of like an alternate close kind of deal right there. As the call to action. And then day 7, we end up just talking about negotiating strategically. And the tip here is don't split the difference. As I was writing this, as I was coming up with, as I was BSing, so to speak, making this email up, I came up with this term. We like to take a more clause-focused approach. So I kind of said, hey, instead of focusing solely on price, we'll work with the cooperating buyer's agent to make you only make concessions on, to make sure you only make concessions on things that might not matter so much to you, such as closing dates and other clauses in the contract. So, I don't know if any of you guys have seen that Never Split the Difference. It was like Chris Voss. He's got a book, and there's a master class on that. And I think he kind of goes down this path. I think that content would probably be useful for anybody to just check out. But the whole idea of, hey, we all know I'm very guilty of this, of just, hey, let's get the deal done. Let's split, you know what I mean? Let's split the difference and meet in the middle during negotiations. So this is just positioning you as somebody who's going to think a little further than that. So if this isn't true, anything I'm writing in these emails, again, you can change it, insert your own way of doing things here. And the PS here, a little awkward. I just go, oops, I almost forgot to say bye. This is the last email in our series. Hopefully by now you've reached out to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. But if not, can you just reply and let me know what you thought of these tips? Thanks. One more email that I might add is just like the next day, hey, just checking in one more time. You could do that. Just checking in one more time to see what you thought of the email tips. Just curious, are you thinking about buying sometime soon? Something like that. So Veronica's asking questions. So part of the exercise here, Veronica, we were creating this funnel, and kvCORE has a new sharing feature. It's pretty cool, where we can share these campaigns. So I was going to give you guys the full campaign sharing code for this, and you can pull it into your account. As you saw a few minutes ago, I have a little bit of formatting issues, but I'll give you the share code now. If you want to wait till tomorrow morning to pull it in, or just pull it in again tomorrow morning so you don't have those same formatting issues, I'll show you how to do that right now. So let me search for my campaign. And when you go into the course, if you created your own campaign, you'll now notice on the right side, you have this sharing token. I think the first time you need to click to share. I already done that. So you click the green button to share, and then this token is revealed. And I can give you guys, click the copy. Oh, that's a great idea, Courtney. I'll share that with everybody. Oh, I think everybody can see it in the chat. But here's the share code. So when you pull this in, and I'll show you how to do that now, you're going to pull in the campaign structure like this, and you're also going to pull in all those emails as separate templates. So you can basically not use the campaign part, and then you can go edit the templates to kind of construct your own campaign if you want, if that makes sense, because they'll all be sitting in the templates right here. So the way to share it in, to pull it in, is go to the main campaigns page right here, and then up at the top right, this green button. I love our product, guys. I even mentioned this. I was like, how is anybody supposed to know? You need to click that. But that's what you click. You click this little icon right there. Boom. And then it reveals this enter a campaign token to copy. For my money, I would rather just kind of have that be there. There's room without having to hit that, right? Couldn't we just have that there? Anyway, if you put the code right in there and then I guess click it again, it'll pull it on in. So it'll say the cloning process has started. You see down at the bottom left of my screen, and then you'll get an email once it's done. And I've never seen it take more than a minute or two, depending on the length of the campaign. It'll pull it right on in to your account, and you'll get an email letting you know, and it'll show up there. And then once it does that, if you go to the main templates and search, in this case, it'll be selling tips, because I named them all selling tips report. It'll be cloned in. And you see what it did? I have 2 of each now because I just pulled it in. That's going to drive me nuts. So let me. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete the duplicates right now because I'm going to end up editing, not knowing which one I'm editing when I make changes. There we go. Barbara, you can use that same code that I gave you. The code won't change. It'll just pull in the campaign in whatever state that it's in at the time you pull it in. I don't know. The emails don't look bad right now, so it might have just been the preview. Honestly, it looks fine. It's probably fine to copy. That white thing was just throwing me off a little bit, that white space, but that might have just been in our preview, because otherwise the emails look fine to me. So Barbara, you're saying you can't copy it. It says select all. Did you copy the share code out of the chat? Because you right click and then you click copy. Okay, so you have the share code. That's cool. Okay. And then if you go to marketing smart campaigns, you can't copy from the chat. That's not fun. Yeah, if you left click and click over, yeah, if you took a picture, you're going to end up manually having to do it. But Barbara, was your issue? Here, I'll resend it. Here, Mark's asking to resend it. So there's the share code, guys. You should be able to left click in and get that. Where else could I share that to you? I'll put it in the. Put it with the here. I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video. Let's get crafty here real quick. So if you go to YouTube to our live stream right now, and if I edit the video, will let me. It will. And then we'll go right down here. Share code equals like that. So it'll be in the description of the YouTube video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching it there. So basically the description of the YouTube video is always, Yep, Barbara, it'll be right there when you watch the replay on YouTube. And the replay is right, here's the link to that. I mean, we're kind of recording it now, but here's the YouTube link. So, and then again, I'll just kind of repeat. You just go into the main campaigns page and it's this little green button on the right and you put the code in there. So, this is a really interesting new feature because, you'll be able to share the stuff you're doing with other people at your office and vice versa, or, other coaches and trainers around the industry. If they want to build kvCORE campaigns for you to use, I think we're going to have a nice, we'll start to build up a nice library of this stuff out there that can be used. But I know that this seller type follow-up campaign was a big request. Now you don't have to do this full funnel that I did, right? You could just pull in that campaign with the templates, not have it be related to the funnel, and just include a couple of those templates in your existing seller campaigns. Great, Veronica got it working, perfect. I believe when you copy it in, Courtney, it copies the hashtag rule. This is a good question. It'll copy the rule that I established. Okay, so it's important. It's important that you go through the campaign and adjust it to fit your situation. So if I come into my course here, you'll see over on the right side our campaign settings right there. And I can click the edit and say you don't want it to trigger based on that hashtag. You would X that out and choose a different hashtag or choose different rules. So it's just copying exactly the way the sharer had it. But it doesn't need that hashtag to work, if that's your question. It doesn't really matter. It's just the way I have it configured. Yep, cool. So I'll likely be evolving this a little more over time, but just making minor tweaks. Again, the big takeaway is we built an email-based lead magnet where the content is being delivered over a series of times so that we're building trust with the lead and we're kind of telling a story as we go. And there's kind of infinite ways you could do this. Probably a few other ones that I would build like this would be recruiting. So if you could do a new agent recruiting funnel. How to buy an investment property, I think is a really good one. How to buy your first investment property, how to buy a fixer-upper, and get money for repairs. So there's kind of a lot of stuff to know there. Basically anything that you would offer, could be made into an email course. Cool. So I didn't think that would take us too long today. We can go ahead and run an ad for it. If there aren't any other specific questions about the campaign, I can just show myself running a quick Facebook ad just to do that exercise to kind of round out the funnel, right? Round out the growth system. Now that we've got everything set up, we've got the automation on the follow-up set up, we have a landing page. The next step is to get traffic to it. One thing I may do before I run an ad, just remind you guys that your email signature is a great place to make these kinds of calls to action. So I'm going to go quickly into my profile here. And I'll go to edit profile. I got to switch that photo back. I was having a little fun one day. You see I have these call to actions. Right, it says visit that. So I could do so I'm going to copy my headline. And I'll say click here for 7 tips. And what am I going to do? I'm going to link this. Oh, I was in my about me, guys. Sorry. Oops. I'm going to put it down here. I was in the wrong section. So click here for 7 tips. Now my my email signature from all these trainings is getting a bit loaded up here. With calls to actions. I've got more. It's probably too much. So I might get rid of one of these or 2 of these. But just as an example, having a clear call to action It'll be good. It's actually kind of fun. Now I've got 4, 5, and then finally, don't forget to watch this. So there's my signature. So that'll go out with every email, right? That is sent through kvCORE. So people can see that and it can generate leads. So let's save it. And next, let's go ahead and run a quick Facebook ad, see if it works out. So copy the URL. I'll jump into the Facebook dashboard. How's our waterfront campaign doing? Courtney, that's not a specific signature. That's just my general signature that you can access from the profile page in kvCORE. So the trick there is that under my information, I'm just putting a link to that landing page that we built yesterday so that people see it. It's just a good free place to put some of your main calls to actions. And I believe, it goes in all outgoing mail. And it also, I believe, goes out with property alerts. So if people are on property alerts, maybe they opted in for buyer side information on Property Boost or something, they'll now see that call to action and engage on the sell side. Okay, so hopping into Facebook ads, I'll click create. I'm going to run a simple traffic ad. I'm going to move this a little quickly, guys, because we kind of cover this almost every episode or pretty frequently. But if you need to slow down the video, remember you can use the gear when you're watching a replay at the bottom right to slow me down a little bit and follow along. So we'll do 7 tips selling. That's our campaign. It's important that we pick the special ad category for housing. Facebook requires that. I'll leave all these other settings the same. Thanks. My ad set is just my whole county. This is what I'm going to target. We'll do $20 a day to start. I will do 10 just to test it. And then my location is going to be my county. And because we're in real estate, we can't really change any of this other targeting. Facebook is restricting this, but the algorithm does a good job of this, of finding the right targets. I'll answer that in a minute, Veronica. Automatic placements, that's fine for now. We'll kind of continue. I'll link this to the Instagram account. And then my ad itself, so I have my URL copied. I'm going to scroll down a little and put it in the URL section. This is where the ad goes. And then interestingly, it pulled the image from the background of my page. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to use that as my ad image for now, and I'll spice up my creative later. But I'm fine with that. And then my headline, my ad copy, can just be the ad copy in the landing page. Because if somebody clicks this, you want where they end up to kind of match what they were initially seeing. Like that. And I'm kind of happy that's a suitable enough ad, right? I like to get a little more creative and have a video or something here, but it wouldn't make that big of a difference. This is a good place to get started. Mark, I never had time to check out breakout clips. Thanks for reminding me. I had some travel back from Pennsylvania to Florida and totally forgot that stream of thought that Kelly brought up. So yeah, sorry. Have you? Has anybody else played with that? Breakout clips was something that came up on last week's session. I definitely do need to try it out. They're doing a good job of sending me follow-up emails though. They've been following up every day. Yeah. Okay, so that's, pretty quickly, you can get a pretty simple ad live like that, and then we'll know tomorrow. Now, remember, these seller side ads where you're trying to pull a seller out of Facebook, where there's not a lot of intent, it's probably going to cost it's going to cost a little more, and it might take longer to get actual leads out of this. That's kind of the nature of online seller lead generation, right? One other place I might go, just because we have time, is I might go to direct mail, and I'd likely have more success with direct mail here. So if I go into thanks.io or something, so come in. I'll do a quick send now. And I'll design a quick card, go into Canva. And I'm going to use just really what I'm trying to get to. I'm just doing this to quickly get a blank slate. And I'm a pretty huge fan of ugly marketing. So I like we'll use an ugly yellow and I'll put a text. And then we'll do almost exactly like we did the Facebook ad. Okay, and then I had some extra, my sub headline. Okay, like that. And then let's get a little fancy because we have a minute. I'm going to go to elements and I'll look for an arrow. Hoping my wife sees it. She makes fun of my arrows all the time. So I'll have to send her one. Here we go. Something like that. I'm overthinking this. Ugly, yes. But good enough. So we'll hit save postcard. It'll throw it on the front like that. Hit continue. Hi. If you're at all thinking about selling your Pinellas home, scan the QR code on this card. Right. Start. You'll learn, and I just pasted it in, right? Thanks. And then if I want, I can, you got to do the compliance stuff, Ryan Hartman. Okay. Right, something like that. And then I can choose handwriting style if I want to change it up. Okay. And then the QR code, I'll add the QR code here. If that gets scanned, it'll go to this URL. It'll go to my kvCORE landing page. And if I just click out, you'll see it kind of spin on the right side. It puts the card in. And there we go. So anytime that gets scanned, I will receive an email letting me know that it was scanned. And then I can use the map here, and drop a pin and send it to an area, or I can go into the list building module here and say, hey, give me everybody in a certain town, zip code. A homeowner who's been in their house at least 3 years, and they're making, I don't really care about the income. Maybe they have a swimming pool. Or we'll go by home value. And then up at the top right, it'll give me, it'll kind of update and give me the list. Oh, it only found 56. That's cool. We'll buy 50 of them at 9 cents a piece, 10 cents a piece. And just like that, I can get this out to a targeted list of homeowners in my area. So, I'm becoming more convinced. I'm a co-founder of Thanks.io, and the business has been in existence 3 or 4 years already. But I'm a digital marketer first, and Thanks.io came out of a necessity to get more conversions out of digital mail. But as I see results from this, I'm becoming more and more convinced that postal mail is not dead, and it's definitely a channel we should be thinking about. Yeah. So that's it. I mean, and you can kind of see the campaign. It shows you after what it looks like there, and it just goes out. Now, your response rates aren't always great, but if we're doing listing focused marketing, sending 50 postcards, and if we probably won't get a listing, right? But the really interesting thing that happens with mail and listing focused marketing is you get phone calls like 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years later. I've experienced this a number of times in my career where people just hold the thing you sent them, and they might not even scan the QR code, but they just hold on to it. But they decide they need a realtor one day, and it's just sitting in their coffee table drawer or whatever it is, and you get the call. So thanks, David. It is bonkers, isn't it? Now you can automate this stuff too with Zapier. I kind of just did the basic kind of flow, but yes, you can do it pretty quickly. So what we did, guys, the last few days is something that we've done at this point over the last 9-10 months or so, is we've built out a growth system. I call them growth systems. Really, that's just another name for marketing funnel. All right. And what we used to do that was the tools we have at our disposal with kvCORE. So we used a landing page generator. We used a smart campaigns functionality. And we use some external tools to get traffic. We used Facebook ad, and we just used thanks.io. But this process can be repeated in pretty much infinite number of ways. And you can build out these niche focused growth systems for yourself ad infinitum, as many as you want. In the members area, if you're a next level member, you'll see we've got, I'm probably missing a few. I need to go and just make sure I get everything we've ever done here. But you'll see we have other walkthroughs like what I did the last 2 days. We have other kind of examples like the waterfront homes, new construction, open house list. And I'll get this 2-part series in there as well. But I hope that by doing these sessions, it inspires you guys to look at the technology in a specific way, and to look at it as a tool that you can use to build systems for your business that just pump leads out. This particular angle might not work, but if I stick to it and I keep driving traffic and I keep tweaking the page, if it doesn't work great at the beginning, and I try to change my headlines or I change the follow-up emails, you can get to a point over time where you do have a system that's reliably allows you to put money in one side of the funnel, right? You put money in and then more money comes out the other side. I think the difference between top producers and people who struggle in this business or aren't top producers is that the top producers are willing to put in not only the effort to get things like this set up, but they're willing to spend money for a few months until they get the return, and that's just business. Basically any business, you gotta kind of put it in. But hopefully I'm inspiring you to kind of think along these lines of building these kinds of systems. So let me just look here, make sure I didn't miss any questions. Barbara is asking, did you show how to connect the hashtags to the lead page? Yeah, we did that on yesterday's session, but it'll take me 10 seconds to show you that. So when you're building the landing page, your hashtag goes up here in the page. So basically I put selling tips report in this hashtag section. And now anybody who opts into this page gets assigned that hashtag. And then when I built my campaign, we did this all live yesterday. I said, hey, anytime that selling tips report hashtag shows up, trigger this campaign. So that's how you do it. That was the Amazon arrow, Veronica, wasn't it? Yeah. And Mark says you can do the same thing for getting their home, for getting to their home value. Yeah, you mean for home value leads? Yeah. If that's what you mean. Yep. Yeah, there's so many different seller focused offers you can make, with direct mail. The main ones that everybody else is doing, we know this, is get your home value. And just so you guys know, man, I have seen the designs for our new sell page, our new tool, and it's going to be sweet. It's close. It's coming, I think, September, October. This whole experience is going to be way beefed up, and you guys are going to be really excited about that. So driving traffic to these kinds of things still works. It's a bit of a long game because not everybody opting in to get their home value is serious. The other kinds of angles you can take is information based, like what I did here. And I'll just restate, guys, my favorite way to get sellers is to make investor offers. Because I'm sure over the course of my career, I've gotten more listings from just offering lists of fixer-uppers and income properties than anything else, because the homeowner, in your market will opt in for that info. You build the relationship, and then they'll be like, hey, by the way, I have a house to sell. Or they'll actually be serious enough to actually rehab a property, and they'll need a listing agent, and they'll show some loyalty to you. Not to blow up everything we did the last 2 days, but I'd like to throw that in there. So Barbara's asking, how did you link a QR code to the campaign? That was specifically in thanks.io. And when you're building a message in thanks.io, the written part of the message, you have the ability to add a QR. It's depending on where you are, it's either below the message or it's up toward the top here in this URL section. And you just put the URL in and it generates it. So, QRs are best for physical stuff. I think somebody was even asking me about my, Veronica, yeah, the QR code on your profile picture. Is there a video about how to do QR codes? Yeah, we did this a few weeks ago. I wonder if it's in the replays or if it's in the next level members area. We did a whole session with Kelly about QR codes. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you. Yeah, here we go. So here's a session for everybody about QR codes. Just a little tip there, Google right now, Google Chrome, I don't know where it went, but used to be there. You could make a QR code. Here it is, up at the very top right of any browser window. They'll just spit out a QR code for the link you're on. With this little dinosaur game. You guys ever played that game? If you don't have the internet connection, like where is it? Is it T-Rex runner? Here. I'm sorry. Are we supposed to be working? All right, guys. I don't have much else. I don't see any other comments, so I guess we can call it a day for today. Definitely in the meantime, we'll be here next Tuesday at the same time, but in the meantime, check out the Facebook group. The group is just really cruising along. People are asking great questions in there related to kvCORE and tech, and also just general tips and tricks related to your business. So keep an eye on that. That's at insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. And then we also have insiderealestate.com/YouTube if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet. Definitely be there too. No problem, Courtney. Thank you. And thanks, Veronica. Thanks everybody for the participation all around. Let's go Cowboys. Get out of here, Mark. You must know I'm a Giants fan and that I live in Tampa. Definitely not Let's Go Cowboys, but man, isn't it great? Football's back. All right. See you guys.